Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being a show where we talk about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the season finale of Doom Patrol. A great season finale. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. First and foremost, we're immediately picking up after the bus crash, and everyone's picking themselves up. Obviously, Larry and his baby, which we later on learn its name is Keeg, ends up, hurting him again, and it's like, no, I'm good. Everyone's piecing themselves together. Jane's not in a good position because when she goes down to the underground, the entrance has collapsed. It's like, cool. Plus, Kay's stuck on the other side with whatever that was there. Whether that's just like the dark sides of the underground coming at her because the other's existence made it so that it kept all that darkness at bay. Now that they're gone, like all those pieces that they ate, maybe that kind of got left behind and attacked her. Well, maybe it's just her own fears because the first time in a long time she thought she was ready to be alone, but she was absolutely alone. So, because it turns out it wasn't them, because all of them are inside of fog right now. So I guess that was like I said, just the darkest reaches of the underground attacking her once again, and not unless that was just a manifestation of herself just because she was all alone. We still don't have full context for that, but Jane goes topside, but none of them are really in a position to help. Larry's not in a position to help. Vic isn't. And Vic, it's like, yeah, it's funny. You want us to go out there and be the heroes, but he's like, the fact is, I'm going to tell you, like, for the longest time, I fought against it, but now, like, I'll tell you, it's crystal clear. We're not a super team, and so they're trying to walk away, but Fog comes up and snatches him. And obviously, Rita's like, I need them. Obviously, it's not just about saving Cliff. It's about getting her revenge against Laura, well, Madame Rouge, because it's like, not only is she out and about and free, she hasn't had any like change because of the great flagellation, the eternal flagellation, which Fog is like, well, you don't know that she has it, and it's like, and you don't know that she has. So, but Fog believes, like, no, like, I think there is still something in it. Like, yes, she betrayed us, and she's the reason Malcolm's there, but she's like, I still believe there is still some good in her. Just like, I don't think she's completely lost, just like I don't believe you're completely lost. Because Fog believes in this, because it's like, look at what the eternal flagellation was able to do around the world. Like, they were able to do some good. So that's why I'm thinking this will probably be the last we see of the Sisterhood of Dada for a while, because it's like, right, they put on the greatest performance, and it had such immaculate change in the world, in some regards, at least from what they've seen and what others have witnessed. So I think they made their statement with this, so they're probably going to wait till they come up with their next performance piece before they present it to the world, something of such a large scale. But inside of the Fog, you have not just Jane, but the other personalities. Like, a few of them are like out and about. One in particular is able to talk to Keeg, Larry's insect child, parasite child, and it turns out that it doesn't hate Larry, it's trying to combine with Larry, but Larry's not too keen on the idea, because it's like, no, I literally went through this before with a negative spirit, because for him, like, every choice in his life was never his own. The fact of the matter is, getting married, he was forced into that by society. The chief set up the whole situation so that he crossed paths with the spirit, which it stayed with him for like 60 years. So it's like, he doesn't make this next choice lightly, because it's like, if I let this thing back in, it will be my choice, but that means if things go wrong, I won't have anyone to blame. But Larry's like, I was there, but Vic is like, I was there, Larry, when you talked to your subconscious. What did you talk about? Like, letting love in. It's just like, let it in. Like, I know, like, how that's what this is. It scares you, because it's going to be like, right, for the first time, you're going to choose to let love in, and you're going to make a choice of your own. And it is like, that is the scary thing of like not having, like, at least he could have other people to blame for the choices that were forced upon him. But when he makes his choice, and if things go bad, because for him it's like everything in his life's ever gone bad, so this is only going to be a matter of time before it does. But even if it does, like, you'll find a way. Like, it's kind of like let love in, and there's bound to be hurt when it comes to love. That's kind of the dual sided thing, but it's all worth it in the end. It's better to have loved than lost than never to have loved at all, right? Cheesy and cliched as it might be, it reigns so true. So it's like, because he's also got fears of like, right, I can make excuses, I can blame other people for the circumstances of why, like, I wasn't there for my wife, I wasn't there for my children, and just things being as they are. But at the very least, this could be a choice that he gets to make for himself. So but he can't fuse with it because his bandages prevent like radiation, so his radiation from leaking out. So this creature, which is a being of radiation, can't get in, but he can't unwrap himself without hurting everyone. So Vic brings his spirit into himself until they can get back to the manor. At the same time, Hammerhead shows Jane what's been going on, because Dr. Harrison has kind of been the one that tells the other personality, like, yeah, the other persona is like, we don't need to go back. We should stay here. Staying inside the fog is safe, until Jane realizes, like, and meets, like, she sees, like, Pretty Polly as well as others are crumbling. They're all dying. And it's like, right, she found the same substance in the underground. It's like the underground's collapse is representative of them. If the underground goes, so do they. But Harrison's like, no, we have true freedom. And then she looks at Harrison's arm and is like, you don't give a shit about freedom. This is about control. You're the control freak that you are. You would rather die and kill us all than relinquish any of that, because it would mean going back to the status quo, essentially, but it's like, right, she wants something in exchange. And I was like, what does she want? Turns out what she wants in exchange is to be the primary, which even Hammerhead's like, what? You let her take control? It's like, yeah. Like, can you even pass that on? Because she became the primary because Miranda wasn't around anymore. So, like, that's how Jane became the primary. So it's like, I guess it is something you can just pass on to someone. I mean, no one's ever wanted the job before. Maybe it's a situation that Harrison has always been gunning for the job, but the opportunity never really presented itself, because it's like, right, it's all for the sake of the child, so can't really go against her ruling. There's an equilibrium to it, that everything is set up the way it is. Like, there is a perfect balance to it all. So that's why I'm wondering, like, she figured as chaotic as things are, now is the perfect time to grab for power. And it's like, what are you going to do as a primary? That's going to be interesting. Like, obviously, that's going to be something we have to wait and see. But it's like, that's going to be interesting, like, what you're going to do with the position of being a primary. It's like, what that means for the Doom Patrol as a whole, too, of, like, what you'll do to them. And, you'll be able to have your life and stuff like that. But you being in control, what does that mean for the others? I guess it's like, she's going to make things, like, she's going to change the structure of things and make things kind of very like, oh, this is how things are going to work, and she's going to organize the whole situation to be what she wants it to be. So maybe there's going to be some sort of order to how, because once again, in its chaos, there is order. In the chaos that is Jane, like, not just Jane, but the whole, like, the way Crazy Jane's situation is. Like, that whole situation, there is order in that chaos of, like, that's how it's meant to be, but I'm sure, like, the Doctor's going to put her own spin to it and be like, no, this is going to be order, and that's probably going to throw everything in chaos, because it's meant to be the chaotic thing that it is. Like, personalities kind of jumping in kind of whenever they want to in the past a little bit. I feel like you haven't seen that as much. I think that's just because of the state of the underground. But, like, because, like, even this season, like, you mainly only had Jane on the surface. Not, like, you have Flake, like, pop in every once in a while to teleport, but that's about it. Like, Jane's been, like, surface, like, most of the time. You haven't seen too many of the others, like, go topside. I mean, other than that, obviously, like, Kay's been topside a few times. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing this season. Like, we didn't see too many of the other personalities topside. Doesn't mean they weren't, but just, like, on screen, we didn't get to see too many, like, topside. They've all just, every time we've seen the others, we've seen them, like, in the underground, which I love that Driller was like, yo, this is my time to shine. Like, we're going to be motherfucking ants. Ants, get the motherfucking, like, we're going to tear this from top to bottom. It's like, let's move out, So while that's happening, obviously Vic was able to Fogg dropped them all off, which I love, because, like, Fogg is willing to do anything for Jane, and Jane's like, oh, like, Fogg was kind of essentially saying, like, yeah, if you ever want to, like, did you bring them in there because you were really trying to keep them safe, or was it to draw me in? And she's like, which answer makes it so that you start coming looking for me again? I'm like, ooh. I was like, that's neat. And it's like, because, like, Jane's never really had, like, she has the team, but she never has, like, someone on that level of, like, potentially, like, a significant other in that regard. So that's kind of interesting. I think the closest one is, God, I'm blanking on her name. It's the other personality. Wasn't it Doug? Wasn't that how that whole thing went? Like, the one that, like, has the power to, like, make everything into, like, a rom-com, like her. I want to say it's Karen, but I don't remember her name. Like, she got, like, we ain't seen her. I want to say she popped up for a tiny bit in season 2, but we haven't seen her since, like, she got dragged off at the end of that episode when they dragged her back of, like, don't do that again. There's a reason things work the way they do. Hey, like I said, I'm blanking on her name off the top of my head. I want to say it was Karen, but I don't remember. she's the only one that kind of we've ever really have like any relationships. But even then, that relationship is a toxic, manipulative situation because it's her powers that creates this, like I said, rom-com of a situation and circumstances. So, but other than that, it's like Jane seems like she might be the only other the personas to potentially have like a budding relationship. We'll see. Like if she ever, like if if we get more fog in the future, like where things will stand between her and Jane. With everything going on, will Jane ever have an opportunity to really go chase after her? But circling back to it, Vic was able. I'm curious, like holding the key. Is that going to have any negative impact on his body and the state that it's in? I mean, luckily he is still a lot of his weaponized parts have been removed, but he still has the like mechanical like enhancements that he had before to some extent when it came to his body. So that's the only reason why he could survive having Keegan inside of him. But I'm wondering, is there going to be any aftermath from having that? But Larry brings Keegan, and it's like, right, like trust me, like we're going to be in this together. So. Which I do like that it just full on no longer in the larva form, straight up looks like a baby negative spirit. So that's interesting. But other than that, circling, we had the whole Mala situation, which I loved, is that he decided not to kill Cliff and Madame Rouge, because for him it's like, yeah, I've been tiptoeing between it, but for him it's like, it's kind of like I've brought up last episode, he's kind of like the Barnacle Boy to Mermaids, man, where it's like, right, I'm just retired, I don't want to deal with that, superhero, he's like, I'm too old for this. But, well, obviously there's a storyline about him being like, oh, he wants more respect, so he ends up joining up with supervillains. That, there's that. But it's just like, Mala's just tired. He's like, I'm tired of the evil. You had to come back around. Like, I enjoyed things as they were, but then you had to come back around and you had to get the brain started again. He's like, now that the brain started, he needed, now that he's in Cliff's body, there's no stopping him. Like, before, if things didn't go right, we probably could have gotten back into that comfortable situation of like, right, we're putting the Brotherhood of Evil behind us, but it's like, nope, he's full-blown going forward with this, and it's like, I'm not about to go down that route, so I'm gonna leave you alive. And I love that insult of like, get back here, you son of a simian whore. I'm like, I don't know why that resonated with me. I don't know, because you never hear, like, my experience with what I've seen of Michelle Gomez, whether it's Sabrina or Doctor Who, she does like, so like seeing like her being like so, I mean, this is the show of filthy. Like this is the filthiest like dialogue show, like especially superhero related. They're throwing fucks and shits around like nobody's business. So it's just like, this is like this is the show with the biggest potty mouth, at least from my experience of what I've seen. But I thought like the moment Cliff's brain fell, I was like, I thought he was dead. But then I was like, wait, could it be that he fell into something? Because this is where like the Brotherhood disposes of stuff. And like, oh, hey, there's a giant robot that was like Mr. Nobody basically in his mind. When he was messing with Doom Patrol, kept killing them with it over and over and over and over again back in season 1. I'm like, hey, it's that thing again. Turned out, now that Cliff is just a brain, Madame Rouge hooked him up to it, and now they're chasing after the brain who's enjoying his new body, and it's like, he's like, I feel good, and then she chases him down, and then proceeds to crush him on the foot, which he was like, wait, did we just destroy my only body? And it's like, yeah, but you're in this one now, so he's a giant robot, and she wants to go and kill Rita, but, you have Cliff talking to her where it's like, we're both dickheads, I get it, but it's like, right, like me, I'm a dickhead, but I know that like I'm not a complete lost cause despite everything, and I know you aren't either. And so he ends up controlling a robot and making it stop. But she's like, I will kill you. And he's like, go ahead, I'm going to die anyway. But hey, like, congratulations, you didn't murder me. So it's like, you're not, a completely lost fuckwad. Like, there's still something in you. They're like, the eternal flagellation, maybe encountering Rita, her memories of who she was before as Laura DeMille / Rouge, plus who she's been. I love that he was even like, oh, remember when we thought you were an Ottoman? I forgot who he said that at one point in time, but it made there was a change in her. The internal flagellation did have an effect on her. So when the time came, you had Cliff rolling. Well, first and foremost, she got in a time machine, and I love because she found it, because she went back to where the Sisterhood of Dada met. And it's like, right, that's where Rita hid it, because it'd be the one place Madame Rouge would never go back to going back to, because obviously there's a lot of bad memories there. Two, like, of course, it's like, it's the most obvious place, so of course you wouldn't think about it. But found the machine, and I love the machine, like, it doing its thing, because it's like, when and where, and she's like, someone that's not here and someone that's not now. But obviously the machine does what it does. It psychoanalyzes you. She's like, here I am talking to another robot that's basically trying to, like, give her therapeutic advice and stuff like that. But obviously, like, because she wants to go back, she's like, oh, I could go back, I could save Malcolm, oh, I can save them. She's like, or I can make it before I was Madame Rouge. But it's like, oh, like, but who were you? But who was Madame Rouge before she was Madame Rouge or Laura de Mille? It's like, it basically saying, like, oh, time's set in stone, that you can't change it. Like, things have to play, like, things are just kind of set in stone, so there's no, like, changing it. That this was always meant to be, that we'd get here one way or another. So for her, it's like, what am I supposed to do then? How am I supposed to make any of this right? So she goes to the Doom Patrol, but it's like, right, she lost her memories again, and so, but she wrote herself a note, and it's like, oh, Jane, who dresses up like some, like, sock puppet or something like that. Then it was like Vic in a jumpsuit, stick up at ass. That's you. And then Cliff rolls up. He's like, hey guys, I was able to get some of your stuff back. Here it is. Which I'm skipping over the important part. Like, I love that they were doing the whole thing of, like, him going from Florida across, because he was going back to Doom Manor anyway. Well, more so, like, Laura wanted that. But I love, like, the like, what, face hole instead of Facebook, which Facebook's not even Facebook anymore. It's Meta. I guess the whole title was Metaverse. I always just saw Meta, so I thought, like, Meta was just the name. But I guess it's like, the Facebook universe is now just Metaverse. Whatever the case may be. I brought that up in reviews. It's still, like, it's kind of weird to me. But, you know, I've never been too attached to Facebook, so I'm like, cool, do whatever you want to, I guess. But aside from that, I love the fact is that you see, like, those, like, it's like, one was like, oh, of course there's going to be robots coming out of Florida. What was it, hashtag Red State Red Bot or something like that? I'm like, what? This dude be like, oh man, I got some dang weed, I'm seeing robots now. And one of them was like, all life for Damien or something like that. And I was like, once again, you bring that name up in this universe, I'm like, is that supposed to be like a Damian Wayne reference or something like that? Like, only Damien I know in this universe, but that's what, it's gonna be just like, it's just meant to be like random F names or something. But I love that, just like going across, like, the US, getting back to Doom Manor. But yeah, he brought their stuff, but the problem is he dropped it all, and it's like, but he's losing control of his body, so Larry, it's like, oh, Larry, you gotta stop Cliff. And Larry's quiet because I get, like, the negative spirit thing, it seems like it shifted. It's not what it was before, because before, when the negative spirit needed to do something, it would leave Larry's body and activate. But I guess because it's still an infant, it doesn't know how to do that. So either it's going to take time and grow into this, or it's going to be different from the negative spirit, and it activates, because it seems like Larry is knocked unconscious and it just, like, autopilots his body, unlike before with the previous negative spirit. But I love that it's like, right, about to go into action, and then it just passes out, and it's just like, oh, well, that was absolute rubbish. And it's just like, and what about you? It's like, I'm still figuring things out. And so she's like, oh, okay, cool, so you're completely useless. So Vic goes running after her, and as I write the notes about, like, right, this team is a bunch of morons, okay, help them out, though. It's a path to redemption. She wants to help, but Rita shows up to kill her, and it's like, don't look at your notes, look at my face and remember. And she's like, right, I killed the men you love and destroyed your lives together. I killed Malcolm. And it's like, so she's like, I want to kill you. And it's like, don't. It's like, why not? Because I'm not worth it. Which, two things I accidentally skipped over. One, the fact is that Cliff, you know, when he went to go see Clara, and it's just like, everyone's like, they're like, oh, there's a giant robot here, and everyone's looking at it, and it's like, Dad, like, is that you? It's like, yeah, well, I'm dying, you know, still got the Parkinson situation going on, and it's like, he's like, yeah, I know you wanted me to change. She's like, I didn't mean like this. He's like, I know, but for him, first and foremost, it is a situation of, you know, he's like, I know I've asked for 9 different second chances, but this time he's like, I really do want to make an effort towards changing, you know, even more so, because it's like, you know, he admitted that you know, it's like, right, I just want it to be special. But now he's like, the only people I want to be special for is for you and Rory. And she's like, I don't need you to be special, Dad. I just need you to get healthy. And he's like, right, you know, because he's on his apology tour. So he's apologizing to his daughter. He's like, now I just got to be there for my friends. So I got to get back to my friends, but I also got to get out of here before the cops show up. Also, because I might have like stepped on a Prius on the way here or something like that. So I thought that was interesting. And the other thing I completely had forgotten to talk about was Rita and the brain. Because, like, the brain was like, hey, like, work with me. Well, Mala had finally, like, left him the goodbye note. He's like, oh, despite everything we've been through, he left me this, and also this Alana Morissette CD that he said we lost in the car years ago. I love that. But he's trying to, like, bring Rita to his side. Because it's like, right, you help me, like with this body situation, because it's like, right, I have all of the blueprints for Cliff's body, so all I need is your help, and I will help you kill Madame Rouge, and you'll get what you want. But for Rita, it's like, yes, but her need for revenge and everything, like for her, like going down the path of evil, it's like, no, like her, you know, she's unlike Madame Rouge was motivated by power. She can never get enough. Me, I'm motivated by love, by the person that I love most, the brave men I love, Malcolm, and then also my friends. And she screwed off the top and poured boiling water over the brain. So I guess he is straight up dead. Once again, like, they reference Gargoax because he failed to kill all of them. And I'm like, well, we know he got it as well. But it's like, where's his subordinate? Did his subordinate just kind of bail after, like, oh, I did kill my master and everything. We were just on different sides of things. But yeah, I still killed him. So I'm a bounce. Like, we never actually heard from him again. Like, after, like, that was episode 2 where he killed him. Like, I don't think we've seen him since. So I guess he just kind of fucked off and did his own thing. But, yeah. So Rita ends up helping stop Cliff, which beforehand, I love that Jane tried to come in there and help with everything. And it's like, he wants to apologize to her, even being thankful to her for everything. He's like, despite my constant, like, me being me, and my bullshit, you deal with my bullshit. You even forgive me for my bullshit. So he's like, I want to thank you for that. I've always loved, like, Cliff and Jane's dynamic. It's very, like, sweet dynamic that they have. I mean, him kind of missing the daughter, her having the father issues that she had. So it's kind of like, it was always kind of like a match made in heaven, but also they can be so juvenile together and stuff like that. Them like her, like them making like the most juvenile wisecrack because they're like two peas in a pod type of situation. But I love that she activates his self-destruct thing, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, you fucker, that's some important information you could tell me. He's like, you're the one that's pressing buttons. And I love that it's this awkward thing where it's like, right, we probably should have waited till the last minute to, like, say our goodbyes and stuff, because now, like, he's like, now I'm uncomfortable. And she's like, can we just, like, blow up in peace and silence? But luckily, Rita stopped them just as they were heading towards town. I'm like, man, this town's about to get it from the Doom Patrol yet again. But luckily, Rita stopped them, which I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could, like, well, I guess it's like, right, when you blob out, you can get really big. So I guess it's like, once again, just showing, like, also her having, like, a lot more control over her powers because of, like, she's kind of centered herself. She's kind of found herself with everything. So no, like, completely losing herself like she did before. So she just, I didn't think about the fact that she would be, but it makes sense. You're a Alaskan woman, and, like, you can just, I'm always, and I also bring that up too, like, because some stuff will refer to her as Alaskan woman, but other stuff will just refer to her as Alaskan girl. So I'm never, like, really sure which one that is. But, like, she came to a larger side and stopped Cliff, and it's just like, he's like, yeah, I just want to go home. So luckily everything worked out there. And so, but they're talking on the news about how Cloverton, the town, almost got it again. And it's like, the Eccentrics is like, Eccentrics, it's a step up from Misfits. But it's like, right, Radio's all about, like, no, let's be heroes now. But it's like, are you kidding me? She's like, look, we saved the town. And Larry's like, yeah, from us. It's like, we almost destroyed that town. Again, it's like, yeah, but we're not the same people that we were at the beginning of this series. It's like, no, yeah, in season 1, it's like, we're not those same people. I mean, granted, Mr. Nobody was behind the whole donkey situation, but even then, like, when, like, Rita blobbed out and, just everything went haywire and they wanted to go back home, it's like, yeah, like, we're not the same people then, but it's like, we can be heroes, which I even love. It's like, you want to do this after I've already given up all my parts to be a hero, now you want to do the whole hero thing. So, everyone has their reservations about it, but Rita's like, no, like, we might make some missteps. We are not perfect. But the fact of the matter is we are trying, and that in itself is so important. So I thought that was beautiful. And so everyone kind of jumps aboard and kind of says yes, like, Vic's down, so is Larry, well, him and Keeg. Even Madame Rouge is like, oh, do you really think I'm going to believe that you changed? She's like, no, I haven't, but I want to try. And then Cliff's all about, he's like, give us a name, Doom Force. It's like, oh, God, no. And Jane wants to help too. Well, there's also like a ball sack that's attacking. So it's like, right, to be a superhero team, we need super villain foes. So like, here's a giant ball sack, which are like, is this related to Darren? Because we know Darren escaped. And I was like, well, he's a butt. But like, not unless that has some mutative effect. Like, I'm sure we're supposed to know where that ball sack's from, right? Or is that just supposed to be like, that's just some random ball sack? It's like, I doubt there's just some randomness to it, but still. Jane passed out because, you know, the Dr. Harrison called her because it's like, cool, we'll get to the K situation. It's time for us to handle business. So, passing of the torch. I talked about it earlier about where I think that'll go, but the Doom Patrol, like, they have to label each other. Obviously, Vic left some notes and stuff for everybody, so it's like, cool, because I was like, why are you, oh, right, you gotta all remember who you are because you're about to time travel, because it's like, right, we're going to go the 3 minutes into the future to get, that's how they're going to travel and get there to stop the giant ball sack. This time, interestingly enough, the time machine doesn't talk, but it's like, right, let's get to it. So things are a little more hopeful on the horizon of like, yeah, like they're committed to like, right, we're going to do the superhero thing. I'm assuming Cliff's not going to keep that body. They do have maybe like a bit chunk of next season will be like actually making Cliff a new body. Well, they have the fragments of his old body. They would just have to repair it and not unless they wanted to start from scratch, because maybe Cliff would be like, oh, give me a new body. I'd be curious to see if they'll do that. They'll probably just give him back his old body just repaired. But also, like, you know, his Parkinson's is still an issue, but it's all about, you know, right, taking the appropriate medicine and not like overdosing like he was before. You know, stuff he got off but they've all, as always, they always progress and they've grown so much over the course of the season. So I'm very excited to see where the next season takes us with all this. Doom Patrol was renewed for a 4th season. We got the announcement back at DC Fandom this year, so that was pretty dope. So I'm excited to see what crazy shit and shenanigans they get into, especially when you got Madame Rouge amongst the ranks. Because when I saw her at the at DC Fandom with the when I saw Michelle Gomez with some of the cast there announcing this, I was like, are we going to get more of you? And they're like, yeah, you're with the, you know, it's like, right, they're trying to be heroes and you're trying to be a better person. I mean, everyone's trying to be a better person. So this season was just, I mean, as this show continues to be fucking bonkers, I'm so excited to see, you know, what kind of bonkers shit we get into, what bonkers characters and people we get to see. Are we going to, like, some of the faces we met this season, like, was it the Dead Boys Detective Agency? Is Dorothy going to come back? Are we going to get any more Kip? Once again, Darren's running wild, so it's not like we're done with him. Like, not, like I said, not unless he's associated with the giant ball sack. But they do have the time machine. Since the bus is wrecked, I guess that's going to be their main motivation of getting around. Granted, there's still the complicated thing of like, right, every time you use it, you lose your memory, so it's not like a good means of traveling around. But I'm just excited to see what next season has in store for us. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.